Hello, everybody. This is Mahadeva, the Thunder Wizard, and today I'm going to be sharing with you some secrets about mantra and why you should only be getting mantras from trained Vedic astrologers. Even spiritual teachers, people who are trained in all kinds of meditative practices. Even in India, they hand out mantras like candy. But if you don't have the right mantra based on your exact astrological reading, you may end up actually harming yourself or doing nothing at all. So I'm going to share with you some information. And for those of you who are Vedic astrologers, even if you trained with me, I'm going to share with you a very interesting hack for knowing exactly what the mantra is doing that I may not have even taught you. So for that, stay till the end of the video. If you want to go ahead and get a reading from me or one of my certified astrologers, you can go up here to astrology.thunderwizard.com and you will get many of the things that we're going to be talking about today. Why should you get a mantra only from a Vedic astrologer? Well, first off, we need to talk about what is the purpose of Vedic mantra. So, mantra is not the same as a positive affirmation. I have a really wonderful positive affirmation that I use all the time, which is, even though I have this feeling, I thoroughly and completely accept myself. That's not a mantra. That's just something you use to give your conscious mind something to focus on. Mantra does not program your conscious mind. It is much more powerful than that. Mantra, true mantra, goes all the way down into your unconscious mind, the deepest part of your mind where all of your programming and all of your past life, as well as your true purpose, your destiny, your dharma, this is all bundled up in your unconscious mind. So just telling yourself something positive is not a mantra. And a true mantra is a sound syllable equation that isn't something that somebody makes up. It's something that has been seen, has been experienced by a rishi or a seer. And so these mantras, the sound vibrations and the equations of the sounds put together in a very specific, and sometimes there's even a tune associated with it. This is the exact sound vibration that goes into your unconscious mind, untangles what your true purpose is for your soul, and helps you to become conscious of all of the ways that you may be sabotaging yourself, that you have been unconscious about. Your past life, karmic issues that you've brought with you, your fears that you've brought with you, your delusions, your ego, your narcissism, your childhood. And in childhood, your parents, your school, your society have all programmed you. And all of this programming is deep in your unconscious mind. And so if you have programming that goes against your true nature or your best interests, you're going to be in conflict with yourself. And like many people who say, I'm doing everything right, I'm meditating every day, I do all the right stuff, I stay positive, I eat right, blah, 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 but my life is just blocked, and or I'm miserable, and or I can't seem to get my life working. Well, mantra is, in my experience, one of the most powerful tools to be able to go in there and unlock your highest potential, that which will give you the greatest success, the greatest happiness, and the greatest fulfillment, both spiritually and on the physical plane. But there's a bunch of things we have to know first. So it's good to be talking to a trained Vedic astrologer who knows how to prescribe, because this is like going to the doctor. You don't just walk into the drugstore and just grab, go behind the counter and start grabbing prescription pills off. You could kill yourself. No, you have to first have a prescription from a doctor, and then you have to have a trained person behind the counter to know where those specific medicines are. This is what it's like to get a mantra from a trained astrologer who knows how to, and not all Vedic astrologers know how to give mantras, by the way. So you have to find a Vedic astrologer who knows the science of mantra and knows how to give them. And my trained astrologers know how to do that. I've given them my techniques. So mantra is Kundalini. So there's 3 kinds of energy that you can use in an energetic practice. 2 are known by most people, which is chi, or life force energy. That can be done simply by breathing. Deep breathing, of course, movements, qigong, pranayama. That brings in life force energy, and that is a very powerful practice indeed. But that is something all people know. And then there's Kundalini. Kundalini is not chi. It is not life force energy. It can be stimulated by life force energy, and it can stimulate life force energy, but it is something far more specific, and it is very important. Without it, we wouldn't be human. Kundalini is the fire energy that rises up the spine like a snake. They call it a snake not because it is a snake, but because it uncoils and comes up the spine, similar to a snake. So get rid of that whole thing about Kundalini as evil serpent power. That's not. It's just a way of describing how it moves up the spinal column. When it moves up the spinal column, it opens up knots in the 7 chakras. The chakras are not energy collection points. Those are called dantians. The chakras are outside of the body, and they project aspects of your human psychological life, your projection. And as you go through each level of these psychological projections, these lokas, these universes within your own human psyche, you learn to evolve and you learn to become mature so that you won't be held down by the delusions that these different areas of life can delude you. If we're talking about your physical security, that's your root chakra. If we're talking about your sexuality and your beginnings of your identity, that's the sexual chakra. If we're talking about your power and your ability to get what you need out of life, that is your navel center. And then you have the heart, and then you have the throat and the third eye and the crown. These are all areas of awareness, and these are all potential areas of delusion. And so as you evolve through each one of these chakras, your Kundalini drives that. So when you chant a mantra, what you are doing is you are stimulating the rise of this Kundalini to show you. Now, you may have you've been around for a while. You've been on this planet perhaps hundreds or thousands of lifetimes. And it's good we don't remember all of them. But you have specific blocks and specific chakras, specific psychological areas of your life. And so you have a karmic duty to unlock those to become conscious. Chanting mantras releases the Kundalini into whichever chakra you need. So you don't have to go around spending, like many people do, focusing on this chakra, focusing on this chakra. Nothing wrong with it if you want to do it. 99% of it is worthless, but there's nothing wrong with meditating. Mantra is a very precise science. It's like if you've got a virus on your computer, you get an antiviral software program that goes in there. It searches out the virus and gets rid of it. Mantra does a similar thing. It searches out the parts where you are in conflict on an unconscious level and unwinds that, and then empowers that the true part of you that you need to access. But you first need to know what exactly is going on. Do you need more energy? Do you need to clean up energy? Are you focusing on the completely wrong aspect of your life and continuing to run into walls? Are you bringing too much energy into something? You need to know all this. And this, you go to a doctor. In this case, you go to a trained Vedic astrologer. All right, so that is the purpose of mantra, to use the Kundalini to go into the unconscious mind and release the latent energy that for whatever reason you are unable to get to. So, So that's the purpose of Vedic mantra. So the other thing is to understand that all mantras are planetary. And again, even many spiritual teachers in India who are very revered don't understand this. And we've got a lot of spiritual teachers throwing out mantras like candy. But if they don't understand the planetary vibration of the mantra, they could be harming you. It is true, there are some all-purpose mantras that work. The Gayatri mantra is one. The Triambakam mantra is another one. Om Namah Shivaya. There are others that are all-purpose that anybody can do. But some of the higher level ones, like I got somebody asking me about a Kali mantra the other day. That is definitely not something that you just want to hand out to somebody. Something that powerful can liberate you, or it can bring major karmic issues that you're not necessarily wanting to experience. So not all mantras, not all planets are something you want to be stimulating. And each goddess of these Vedic mantras in the Hindu tradition, each one of these gods or goddesses is associated with a planet. So you may love the idea of a certain god or goddess, but if you don't understand what planet those gods are associated with, you don't know what you're stimulating in your chart. And so you have to understand that. And only a trained Vedic astrologer can help you understand that. So understand that all mantras are planetary. They're associated with a deity and a planet. Now, each one of these deities or devatas has an aspect on your life. Now, you and I could be worshiping for different reasons, but we could be worshiping, let's say, a Mars deity, let's say Hanuman. Let's say we both are worshiping Hanuman and we're both benefiting from it. But even in that case, if we both look at our chart and say, oh, Mars is a good planet for you, Hanuman works for you. Oh, Mars is a good planet for you, Hanuman works for you. You may be getting a completely different result, even though it's positive. And that has to do with which aspect of your mind is the deity and the planet associated with. Is it your conscious mind? Is it your unconscious mind? Is it your subconscious mind? People get subconscious and unconscious confused. They conflate them. But actually, subconscious is in between the conscious and the unconscious. And they all have their specific purposes. So while you're worshiping Hanuman and it's affecting your conscious mind, you are able to think more clearly, get through your day more clearly. Things line up for you. You get parking spaces. That's what happens when you chant Hanuman if it's associated with your conscious mind. For me, if I'm worshiping Hanuman, it's going to be associated with my subconscious mind, which means that will help me to intend my physical reality. For somebody else, if it's beneficial, maybe it stimulates their unconscious mind, which helps them release their spiritual purpose in life and brings deep spiritual and psychological healing. So even if a planet is good for you, it's good to know exactly why. What exactly are you stimulating? What exactly are you doing? And this can only be given by a trained Vedic astrologer who knows how to give mantra. So it's also good to know what is the interaction that this planet, this mantra, this deity has with your ascendant. For instance, your ascendant is your first house, and it is your physical body. It is your personality. It is the main character in your play. All of the different houses and planets are characters in your play. The protagonist is the ascendant, the first house. So you want to know this planet and deity that you're chanting to, what is the interaction with the ascendant? What is the interaction with the aspects? Is it aspecting different planets, different houses? Is it a Yoga Karaka planet? A Yoga Karaka planet is only in a few different signs, but it can be the basis of your chart. It can be, people who have Yoga Karakas. If you worship a deity or a planet that's your yoga karaka, that's basically like an insurance policy. That'll keep you safe no matter what. What Mahadasha are you running? That is a time period where, even though we have all these specifics going on, what planets are doing this, what's going on in this area of your life, there's a thing called Mahadasha, which means great time period. And no matter who you are going through a specific time period where at some point in your life, one of the planets is always in control. Like right now, I've just entered my Saturn Mahadasha, which means that Saturn is the main influencer of my chart in my life. And I can definitely tell you I feel a difference. So what is the connection between the planet and the deity that you're chanting to? And how does it associate with your Mahadasha? These are things that your Vedic astrologer will know. Now, there's another thing. You might have a great planet and a deity and a mantra that's associated with your birth chart, but you need to know what is the strength of that planet in what's called the Navamsha, or the ninth divisional chart. And that Navamsha chart, if your birth chart is here, which is your physical outward projection into this life, that's your birth chart. There's the projector underneath, which is the Navamsha, which is like the basis. You build a house, the first thing you do is you pour a concrete base for the house. If that's not strong, it doesn't matter how beautiful or strong the house is. A good wind comes along and thing will blow over. So that's the Navamsha chart, which is the basis of your chart. You could have a planet that's very strong in your birth chart, but weak in your Navamsha. Your Vedic astrologer will know that. You could have a weak planet in your birth chart, but strong in your Navamsha. Ideally, you want a planet that's strong in both the Navamsha and in the birth chart. Your Vedic astrologer will be able to figure these things out and let you know. How is this planet going to evolve over time? So there's also a thing called an upachaya house, which means a house that grows over time. And these houses are the third house, the sixth house, the eighth house, just to name a few. If you have a planet in those houses, guess what's going to happen? Those planets in those houses are going to get stronger over time. Are you chanting a deity that in your first half of your life, if you're 25 years old, it's in a upachaya house and it's not that strong? Or are you like me? You're over the age of 40 or 50, and now that planet is really strong. Your Vedic astrologer will know that. These are all things, ideally, that you can take a look at. There's a strategy that every astrologer should understand, which is if you've got an issue in your life, I'm not making enough money, I haven't found love yet, I've got health issues, whatever the heck it is, and you want to look at your chart to see if you can fix that problem, then you have to decide what is your strategy. Is the planet that's causing you problems, let's say Saturn is causing you a lot of problems. So you have to decide, do you want to appease Saturn? In other words, do a mantra that basically says, Saturn, I realize that you're trying to give me a lesson and I just want to submit to you, and you want to appease the planet to make it happier so it won't be so angry with you, cause you so many problems. Or do you want to oppose it? If Mars is making you too angry, then one strategy could be to stimulate Venus, which calms Mars down. And I've definitely done this with people that I know. He knows exactly who he is. There's a guy I've worked with, and we first decided that what he needed was more discipline, so I gave him a Saturn mantra, and it only made things worse. And we did the exact opposite of what we thought, and I said, well, let's do the opposite. And in his chart, Venus was opposing Saturn. I thought, well, let's focus on Venus. And that's not what his instinct was telling him to do, and that's not what my instinct, but I said, this isn't working. Trying to, stimulate Saturn is only making things worse. When he did the planet Venus, which opposed Saturn, all of a sudden his life got much better, and things started flowing. So do you want to oppose the planet, or do you want to appease the planet? These are the two strategies that a good Vedic astrologer will know. Now, here's a secret technique if you're a Vedic astrologer, and even if you're my student, I may not have taught this to you. But each mantra has a number of syllables and a number of words. So let's just take the mantra Om Namah Shivaya. So first we look at how many words are in it. Om Namah Shivaya. So that's 3 words. So that means its starting point is the 3rd house. Om Namah Shivaya. Now, how many syllables are there? Om Namah Shivaya. So this takes the power of the 3rd house, which is your energy, your communication, and it takes it to the 6th house, which is the house of your work, of your karma, of overcoming enemies, working through karmic issues. Could be physical health. So it takes your energy to work through your karma. Om Namah Shivaya. That's why it's one of those all-purpose mantras that anybody can use, because anybody can benefit from that, even if there's something else that maybe they could focus on at another time. So there's another thing you can look at when you look at a mantra. See how many words are in it. That will tell you the house that it starts with, and how many syllables are in it. That will tell you how far that it takes that. So if it's four words and 11 syllables, I'm just making something up, that would mean it would take the energy of the 4th house, which could be your mother, which could be your home, it's your comfort, and take it all the way to the 11th house, which is the house of communicating to the collective unconscious, of friends, networking, things like that. So you get a very serious idea of what houses are being stimulated and all of that. So the last thing, which one of my Vedic astrologers will teach you that I'm going to talk about, the last thing I'm going to talk about that they will show you is, do you want a mantra that is a shamanic ritual? Or do you just want a mantra that is for japa or recitation? Now, all mantras, of course, you have to recite the mantra. But there's mantras that are done in a ritual worship setting. And then there are mantras that are just done for contemplation and just chanting the mantra, either with your eyes closed or going through your life and chanting the mantra as you go. That's called japa. And shamanic ritual, where you find out, based on your chart, exactly what direction to face, because that will have everything to do with, what sign is the planet in. If Mars is in a Mars sign, you're going to want to face south and light a fire. But what if Mars is in Venus? Well, then you're going to want to face southeast and offer a beverage. This symbolic gesture will stimulate your chart, and in a shamanic way will create a vibrational connection with the deity that will go deep into the unconscious mind. So these are things that your trained Vedic astrologer should know. And I was lucky enough, there's no shortage of things. I have a lot of things left to learn. I've just gone through a list of some of the things that I know about. But you want a Vedic astrologer that at least has some knowledge of some of these specifics. So feel free to do your own research. Somebody asked me the other day, what should I do if I'm just learning? Well, go and train. There are many qualified Vedic astrologer teachers out there, and it's a free world. You can learn for free if you want. If you want to train from me, you can go to lockdown.thunderwizard.com and you can get a certification from me in both Vedic astrology and rune reading. And if you pass the test, I'll go ahead and put you up on the astrology.thunderwizard.com website and give you your own webpage. If you're just somebody looking for a mantra and you really want to be empowered, then go to astrology.thunderwizard.com. You can get a reading from me, or if you want to save yourself some money, I've got my certified Vedic astrologers who can help you. And I keep getting feedback from people how much they love my astrologers. And just to be clear, they're not just dogmatic, followers of me. I've given them the basics, I think, of what is the most practical astrological reading that I've seen anybody give, which gives you tools that will last the rest of your life. Most astrologers, and this is how they make their living, most astrologers want to tell you what transits are happening for you this year, and they do that so you keep coming back every few months or every few weeks so that they can tell you what you should do this week or next week. And there's nothing wrong with that. I go to astrologers for that kind of information. But I wanted to give people what I was looking for initially, which was information that is going to last me the rest of my life. When you get a mantra from me or from one of my astrologers, that mantra is a lifelong recipe for your success and your emotional, psychological, and spiritual evolution. And that won't matter whether you're 20 years old or 80 years old. And that's the kind of reading I've trained my astrologers to give, which is very specific. And again, you don't find that. I haven't seen any other astrologer do those specific things that I do. But they're not bound to just do that. Some of my astrologers have trained with other teachers and learned other methods that I haven't learned. So go ahead and scroll through and see which Vedic astrology you like and get a reading from them. If you're just somebody who's interested in Vedic astrology, those are some tips that you can look into in your own research and apply that to your own readings or your own study of your own astrology. That's how I became a Vedic astrologer. Not because I was sitting around going, gosh, I really want to be an astrologer. No, I spent decades scouring information so that I could figure out my chart. I just wanted to figure out my chart. And I finally came up with the things that were the most important for me that lasted my whole life. And I want to share that with you. So go to astrology.thunderwizard.com, check it out. If you like the channel, please subscribe and hit the like button. And if you want to learn the unified energy practice, which teaches Qigong, which is life force energy, Kundalini, which is what we've already talked about, and the lightning energy of the heart center, which to my knowledge nobody is teaching publicly, but is, in my experience, the most powerful energy practice on the planet. If you want this combined, unified energy system, go to thunderwizard.com, scroll around until you see Warrior 90-Day Lightning Qigong, and subscribe. If you don't like it, you can unsubscribe. It's cheap. I don't know why everybody isn't doing it. And you've got nothing to lose. If you give it a try and you don't like it, you can unsubscribe whenever you want. And what have you lost? The cost of a cup of coffee for that month? Big deal. So if you want the elite spirit fighting practices, you can go here to maushan.thunderwizard.com. Or if you don't want to shell out any money whatsoever, you can go on to the thunderwizard.com YouTube channel, free channel that you're watching right now, and learn how to search within my channel. Go onto the playlists and find all of these things. There's no shortage of free meditations, rituals, mantras that I give out. Put some time and effort into this library of the thunderwizard.com YouTube channel. And that's it. I hope I can be helpful to you, and I hope this was interesting for you. I shall be doing a live stream soon, so if you subscribe and you hit the like button and hit that bell button, you'll be notified whenever I come on live, and then you can ask me questions directly. All right, that's it. I wish you all the best. Take care of yourselves. I will see you all very soon.